welcome to our deep dive today,
Oh, yeah.
where we're going to unlock some serious brain power with The Master Key System by Charles F. Haneel.
Wow, right?
Now, you might be thinking,
Right.
a book from the early 1900s, what could that possibly have to do with crushing it in the 21st century?
Wow.
Well, trust me,
Yeah.
this isn't just some dusty old relic.
Right.
This book was as popular in its time
Oh, wow.
as The Secret is now.
Okay.
And it dives into some seriously powerful ideas that are just as relevant today.
Interesting.
We're talking about harnessing the power of your thoughts to create success and fulfillment in your life.
It's fascinating how Haneel, a successful businessman himself, presented these principles as the key to his own achievements.
Oh, wow.
He kicks off the book with this intriguing concept of a world within, an inner realm of thought and feeling that he argues actually shapes our external reality.
So it's not just some feel-good philosophy.
Yeah.
He's saying our thoughts have real,
Yeah.
tangible power.
Exactly. He's saying that the conditions we experience in our lives, the health we enjoy, the abundance we attract, it's all a reflection of what's going on in our inner world.
That's a pretty empowering concept.
Absolutely.
Right. It's not about things just happening to us.
Right.
We have a role to play in creating our own experiences.
Yeah.
But how does this world within actually work?
Haneel dives into the fascinating interplay of the conscious and subconscious mind.
Okay.
Think of the subconscious as this incredible powerhouse operating behind the scenes. It's guiding us,
Okay.
controlling vital processes,
Sure.
and even acting as the seat of our memory.
Okay.
But here's the catch. Haneel says simply relying on conscious effort isn't enough.
Right.
We need to understand how to work with this subconscious power, not against it.
So it's like having this amazing resource at our disposal,
As that.
but we need to know how to tap into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the key ways to do this, according to Haneel, is by understanding that thought itself is a creative energy. This isn't just some new age concept. He presented this idea over a century ago.
I'm starting to see the connection to The Secret and the whole law of attraction thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what's so fascinating about Haneel's work.
Right.
He was exploring these principles long before they became mainstream. But he adds a layer of physiological understanding that I find particularly intriguing.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
All right.
Tell me more about this physiological connection.
He focuses on the solar plexus,
Okay.
which he describes as the central point of energy distribution in the body.
Right.
Now, we usually think of the solar plexus as that vulnerable spot where you get punched in the gut.
Yeah, not exactly a pleasant association.
Right.
Yeah.
But Haneel goes beyond that,
Okay.
suggesting it's a powerhouse of energy that radiates outward, impacting not only our physical health, but also our interactions with others.
Right.
He believes that this energy is real and that we can learn to control and direct it.
So it's not just about our thoughts. It's about this actual energy flowing from the solar plexus.
Yes, and this is where his warnings about fear come in.
Okay.
He views fear as the archenemy of the solar plexus,
Okay.
something that literally contracts its energy and hinders progress.
It's like fear creates an energy blockage.
Precisely. Haneel provides examples of how fear, worry, and anxiety can manifest as specific ailments, impacting digestion, sleep, and overall well-being.
Right.
He suggests that these negative emotions interrupt the natural flow of energy from the solar plexus,
Okay.
leading to a range of physical and mental problems.
So overcoming fear is essential for unlocking this inner power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Haneel believed that understanding and recognizing the true source of power within us is the first step to eliminating fear and reaching our full potential.
Okay.
But it's not just about banishing fear. It's about cultivating the opposite: courage, confidence, and a sense of inner peace.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's about shifting our mindset from a place of fear to a place of empowerment. Okay, so we've covered the world within, the conscious and subconscious mind, this fascinating concept of the solar plexus as an energy center, and thought as creative energy.
Right.
What else does Haneel explore in the Master Key System?
Well, he then delves into the practical application of these principles, emphasizing the power of visualization and imagination.
Ah, visualization. That's something I've heard a lot about.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to hear Haneel's take on it.
He believed that a clearly visualized image, rich in detail and imbued with emotion,
Okay.
can help bring about its manifestation in the physical world.
Wow.
He even provides examples of inventors and successful individuals who used visualization to achieve remarkable things.
That's incredible. So he's saying that by creating a clear mental picture of what we want,
Yeah.
we can actually increase our chances of achieving it.
Exactly. It's about harnessing the power of the imagination to shape our reality.
Okay.
And he doesn't just talk about it in theory. He provides concrete examples of how this principle has worked in the lives of others, which makes it even more compelling.
This is all so fascinating. But I have to admit, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed.
Right.
There's so much to take in.
Sure.
It's like drinking from a fire hose of knowledge.
And that's precisely why Hanel emphasizes the importance of finding the silence.
The silence, what does he mean by that?
He's talking about a state of physical and mental stillness, a deliberate practice of quieting the mind and connecting with our inner selves.
Right.
He believed that this stillness is essential for accessing our true power and wisdom.
It sounds a lot like meditation,
It is.
which is something I've been wanting to explore more.
And it's fascinating how Hanel was advocating for this kind of practice over a century ago,
Right.
long before mindfulness and meditation became mainstream.
Yeah.
He recognized that in our busy, noisy world,
Right.
finding moments of stillness is crucial for clarity and focus.
It's like taking a break from the mental chatter and tuning into a deeper frequency.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to see how all these principles connect and build upon each other.
It's a beautifully woven tapestry of ideas.
Yeah.
But we've only just scratched the surface. There's still so much more to uncover.
I can't wait to dive deeper. Listeners, I hope you're as intrigued as I am. Stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive into the Master Key System, where we'll explore even more powerful concepts from this remarkable book.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Master Key System.
Thanks for having me back.
So far, we've explored Hanel's ideas about the world within, the power of the subconscious, and the fascinating connection between the solar plexus and our energy flow. He also introduces this concept of right thinking,
Yeah.
which I found particularly interesting.
Yeah.
What exactly does he mean by that?
It's a fascinating concept.
Yeah.
Channels suggest that there are universal principles,
Right.
what he calls natural laws, that govern the universe.
Okay.
These laws operate regardless of our awareness or understanding of them, much like the law of gravity.
So it's not about following some arbitrary set of rules,
Right.
but aligning ourselves with these fundamental principles.
Precisely.
Okay.
He speaks of the law of vibration,
Okay.
where everything in the universe is in a constant state of motion and vibration,
Right.
and the law of attraction, where
Right.
when our thoughts are in harmony with these principles,
Okay.
that's what Hanel considers right thinking.
It sounds like he's saying that understanding these laws is essential for creating the reality we desire.
Exactly.
But how do we even begin to grasp these concepts?
Well,
They seem pretty complex.
Hanel emphasizes the importance of observation,
Okay.
study, and reflection. He encourages us to look for evidence of these laws operating in our own lives and in the world around us.
Okay.
He also points out that each action,
Right.
each thought,
Yeah.
creates a corresponding effect.
It kind of reminds me of the concept of karma,
Sure.
where our actions have consequences. What we put out into the world comes back to us.
Exactly. Hanel's emphasis on right thinking goes beyond just being a good person.
Yeah.
He suggests that by understanding and aligning our thoughts with these universal principles, we can actually predict the results of our actions and make choices that lead to greater harmony and well-being.
That's a powerful concept.
It is.
It's about taking responsibility for our thoughts and understanding that they have a real impact on our lives.
Absolutely.
Hanel also talks about the power of words, right?
Yes, he did.
It's not just what we think.
Right.
It's about how we express those thoughts.
He dives deep into this idea,
Right.
suggesting that words are thought forms, vessels that carry our thoughts and have the power to influence others.
Right.
He even compares them to architecture.
Architecture. I'm not sure I follow.
Think about it.
Okay.
Accurate and beautiful words, carefully chosen,
Yeah.
are like well-crafted structures
Okay.
built with intention and purpose.
Right.
They have a solid foundation.
Yep.
So,
A pleasing aesthetic, and they stand the test of time.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
And conversely, careless or negative words are like flimsy shacks,
Right.
hastily thrown together with little thought or care.
Exactly.
They lack substance and are easily blown over by the slightest breeze.
Exactly. Hanel emphasizes the creative power of language.
Right.
Our words shape our reality, not just through their literal meaning, but through their vibratory nature.
So we need to choose our words carefully,
Right.
build our mental palaces with intention. But what about wealth and abundance?
Ah.
Does Hanel address that in the Master Key system?
He introduces a fascinating concept called the money consciousness,
Okay.
an attitude of mind that attracts wealth and abundance.
Right.
And he makes it clear that this isn't about greed or materialism.
Okay, so it's not just about wanting more money.
Right.
It's about cultivating a certain mindset.
Exactly.
What does this money consciousness actually look like? It's about aligning oneself with the flow of prosperity, recognizing abundance as a universal principle, and maintaining an open and receptive attitude toward wealth, allowing it to flow in and out freely.
So it's about recognizing that there's enough for everyone,
Exactly.
that abundance isn't a finite resource.
Exactly. Hanel believed that a generous thought is filled with strength and vitality, while a selfish thought disintegrates.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that the universe operates on principles of abundance.
Right.
And that by aligning ourselves with those principles, we can tap into that limitless flow.
I'm curious, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't this idea of money consciousness go against the whole capitalist idea of competition and scarcity? It seems like a very different paradigm.
It does raise some interesting questions about our underlying beliefs about wealth and success.
Right.
Hanel seems to be suggesting a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
One where we move beyond the limitations of scarcity thinking and embrace the limitless potential of abundance.
That's a powerful concept.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder if our focus on competition and scarcity is actually creating the very limitations we're trying to overcome.
Exactly. It's a fascinating point to consider.
Yeah.
Now, building upon this idea of aligning ourselves with universal principles,
Right.
Hanel introduces a final concept that ties everything together.
Okay.
The idea of the I and the universal mind.
Okay. This is where I might need a little guidance.
Sure.
What's this I all about?
He's referring to the spiritual ego,
Okay.
the part of us that's connected to something greater than ourselves, what he calls the universal mind.
Okay.
It's not about our individual ego,
Right.
but this deeper sense of self that's connected to the source of all creation.
So it's about recognizing our connection to this universal consciousness.
Precisely. And Hanel suggests that this recognition is key to unlocking our true potential.
Okay.
He argues that when we realize we're not separate from this universal mind, we gain access to its infinite power and wisdom.
It's like we're tapping into a limitless source of energy and creativity.
Exactly. And it's about shifting our focus from the limited self to the limitless I.
Right.
It's a profound concept that can completely transform our understanding of who we are and what we're capable of achieving.
This is all incredibly inspiring.
It is.
But I have to admit,
Yeah.
I'm wondering how all of this translates into practical action.
Well,
How do we take these incredible concepts and actually apply them in our lives?
that's where the rubber meets the road.
Right.
And luckily, Hanel doesn't just leave us hanging with these big ideas.
Right.
In the final part of the Master Key system,
Okay.
he provides specific techniques and exercises to help us put these principles into practice.
I can't wait to dive into those practical applications. Listeners, I hope you'll join us for the final part of our deep dive into the Master Key system as we explore how to actually use these principles to create lasting change in our lives. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the Master Key system. We've covered a lot of ground, exploring Hanel's ideas about the power of thought, the importance of right thinking, and this fascinating concept of the money consciousness. But now I'm really curious to hear about those practical techniques you mentioned. How do we actually put all this knowledge into action?
Well, one of the most fundamental practices Hanel emphasizes is the importance of the silence.
Right.
He suggests setting aside time each day to go into a quiet space, still the body and mind, and connect with that inner power.
So it's kind of like a form of meditation.
Exactly.
It's creating space for stillness and reflection in our busy lives.
Exactly. Hanel believed that power comes through repose, that it's in this state of stillness that we can truly connect with the universal mind and access its infinite wisdom. And it's interesting to note that he was advocating for this kind of practice long before mindfulness and meditation became mainstream.
It's like he was ahead of his time, recognizing the importance of quieting the mental chatter and tuning into that deeper frequency.
Absolutely.
And it makes sense, right? In our world of constant stimulation and distraction, finding moments of stillness seems more important than ever.
Absolutely. And it's not about becoming a hermit or shutting ourselves off from the world. It's about incorporating these moments of stillness into our daily lives, creating space to recharge, reconnect, and listen to that inner voice.
I can see how that would be incredibly beneficial. It's like hitting the reset button on our minds and bodies,
Yeah.
allowing us to approach challenges with more clarity and focus.
Yeah.
Now, aside from the silence, are there any other specific techniques Hanel recommends?
He talks about the power of affirmations,
Right.
repeating positive statements to ourselves to reprogram our subconscious minds. He believed that by consistently affirming the conditions we desire, stating them as if they already exist, we can actually reshape our thoughts and beliefs and create a new reality.
It's like we're planting seeds in the fertile ground of our subconscious, replacing limiting beliefs with positive, empowering ones.
Exactly. But it's not just about mindlessly repeating words.
Right.
It's about choosing affirmations that resonate deeply with us,
Okay.
ones that evoke a strong emotional response. He emphasizes that thought impregnated with emotion becomes incredibly powerful.
So it's about feeling the truth of the affirmation,
Yeah.
embodying it with our entire being.
Exactly. And Hanel suggests incorporating affirmations into our daily practice.
Okay.
Perhaps reciting them in the morning, in the evening,
Right.
or even writing them down repeatedly.
It's like a form of mental rehearsal,
Absolutely.
preparing ourselves for success by aligning our thoughts and emotions with our desired outcomes.
Precisely. But it's important to acknowledge that it's not always easy to stay positive and focused.
Right.
Life throws us curveballs. Yeah.
Doubts creep in.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels like we're taking one step forward and two steps back.
Yeah. It's definitely not always smooth sailing. What does Hanel say about dealing with those challenges?
He emphasizes the importance of persistence,
Okay.
of not giving up on ourselves or our goals.
Right.
Even when we encounter setbacks, he reminds us that any great achievement requires effort, dedication, and a willingness to persevere even when things get tough.
That's a valuable reminder. It's not about expecting instant results or giving up at the first sign of difficulty.
Right.
It's about recognizing that personal growth is a journey, a process of continual learning and refinement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Hanel also encourages us to view challenges as opportunities for growth,
Yeah.
to learn from our mistakes and use them as stepping stones on our path to success.
It's about embracing the journey, knowing that there will be ups and downs, but trusting that we have the inner resources to navigate them.
He repeatedly emphasizes that this knowledge is most powerful when applied.
So the question becomes,
Yeah.
what resonated most with you, and what will you experiment with this week?
That's such a great question. I'm feeling inspired to incorporate the silence into my daily routine and to craft some powerful affirmations that really resonate with my goals. This deep dive has been incredibly enlightening, and I'm excited to put these principles into practice and see what unfolds.
It's been a pleasure exploring the Master Key system with you today.
The pleasure was all mine. And listeners, we encourage you to continue exploring these ideas, experimenting with the practices, and discovering the limitless potential that lies within each of you. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep unlocking those inner powerhouses.